What's up, everybody? It's Gloomy TV, and I'm your master of television. So, I want to give a little update today on what is Gloomy City. I've done a video on it previously. I feel like the updates now need to come. My content's been lacking. I've been doing a lot of work and it's been molding, and I'm very excited about a lot of things going on. But it's time to get a little bit of content out there, and I really want to talk about Gloomy City. And I'm going to pretend for a moment that you already understand what a metaverse or virtual world is. I have other videos for that. I'm about to do another update for that as well, so you'll see that. But I'm going to pretend that you already understand what that is. So let's jump right into it. What the hell is Gloomy City? It's a metaverse. So what's a metaverse? And I could debate you on what exactly the definition of a metaverse is anyways, but really Gloomy City is a virtual world. And so then you ask yourself, what is a virtual world? Just the rabbit hole, right? It's a decentralized digital world that has been created to pretty much mimic, like general life in a city, in a world. All right, so there's going to be homes, apartments, roads, businesses, just land, worlds, space, kind of name it. You'll need a car to get around places, or you're gonna have to walk, or you're gonna have to find some kind of transportation. There's gonna be like a Gluber, like an Uber system, because it may take a while to get to another place. Some places you can't even go because there's going to be micro worlds and all kinds of like hidden little gems and stuff like that. But essentially, the way you need to think of a virtual world is think of like a video game. All right, you have a video game of a space that you get to interact with. You get on a controller, something just like this, and you sit there and you interact in this world as an avatar. So you have this character that you're controlling inside of this world that's digital, whether it be Grand Theft Auto or Fortnite or Halo or whatever it is that you want to play. All right, even FIFA and like Madden and shit. You're controlling an avatar inside of a digital space, right? Well, a virtual world is kind of the same idea. You have this digital space that's been built, right? And we have these avatars that we get to go in there and explore and interact in this world through our avatar. And it will start off as a controller and a mouse and a keyboard, and that's kind of, it'll be very video game like when we are starting this, metaverse for all of them, really, when it comes down to it. And then eventually we'll get more into, the full on headset where you'll be able to put on the whole headset and you'll be able to kind of then look around, interact, and really kind of immerse yourself into these worlds. Gloomy City is no different than that. So you'll be able to do the same stuff. And I think in the future, in the long term of that, you'll be able to do some really cool shit. I mean, think about being totally immersed into a virtual world where there's AIs roaming around along with a bunch of other people like you. Everybody is, contributing to this world. And the cool thing about Gloomy, and let's kind of break this down for a second. It's decentralized, so that way it's on the blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. If you want to buy any NFTs or land, because if we think about this, all land, all items, clothing, avatars, things like that, that's all going to be NFTs. If you want to buy a business, that's going to be an NFT, right? So you go on OpenSea, you go buy an NFT. It's all done through Ethereum, so you're going to get Ethereum. Gas prices suck for Ethereum. That's a whole other side subject. But that's the economy in a sense, is that it's going to be a blockchain economy. So that's decentralizing the finance side of it. And then everything will be pretty much sold off and not controlled by a central utility. There will still be an active development team pushing forward, and some of the money from the economy overall will go to that. But essentially, they don't own the land, so if they don't own the world. So if they were to cease to exist, the world can still exist and things can still progress forward to a certain degree. They just don't have this kind of, overseeing body of development going forward. And I don't totally know how that's going to play out and work out, and I think that's still kind of being worked out, but I'm sure maybe the architect, which we'll talk about even more, would have way more insights into that part of it. But the economy is going to be decentralized. Everything, I think there will be an in-game token plus Ethereum, so you'll be able to kind of have both. And this is a free world. It's going to be a photorealistic, free and decentralized world. The place is going to be sold off to the people, and then you get to kind of exist and live in this world. You can play for free. You don't have to pay to play. All right, so you can jump into this world and just kind of exist and be there and hang out and do things, and you don't have to really pay or anything like that to get in there. A lot of these virtual worlds they're very locked down. You don't own land. You're not on our list. You blah blah blah. You don't spend $20,000. You don't get into our shit. No, that's not the way Gloomy's gonna do it. This is more of an open world that you're gonna get to come into and exist in, even if you just want to see what it's like. But you can take it further then. You can play to earn. So you can actually start a business, and everything is real money in this world. So you'll be using Ethereum or the in-game Gloomy token to purchase everything, which the token can then be converted over to Ethereum, which obviously can be converted over to the dollar or a fiat currency wherever you exist. And hopefully one day you don't even have to do that, because crypto is pretty much taken over by that point. And then at that point, you got some really cool stuff. You'll be able to buy stuff in Gloomy and have it delivered to your house in the real world. Much like if you've ever seen the movie Ready Player One in the Oasis world, kind of the same idea here. I mean, we're talking about much of the same idea. When you go into this world, it's so open and free. There's been lots of chats. You can die. I don't know exactly what that means. You can get robbed, and if you have you can have cash on you, some kind of legit cash on your avatar, and you can be robbed, which means that money is actually taken from you and you no longer have it anymore. I don't know how some of these things work down to the technical side of things, which I always like to get into, but it's take Grand Theft Auto. You can just go kind of do what you want, and I know that he's going to riddle out kind of different. Think about Grand Theft Auto, and you can go find a challenge to go on a killing frenzy or go rob a bank or whatever, and you can then earn money for things like that, or NFT rewards for that. That's going to exist in the game too, so you can actually take on challenges to try to go do things. And those challenges may be rob a bank, which means that bank is owned by someone and has legit money in it and shit like that. So this kind of gets in depth in the sense of where does that go exactly, and how does that play out and work? But that's the future of the virtual world in the metaverse, in the decentralized sense of it. You'll have centralized versions like Horizon with Meta or Facebook, and you'll have decentralized ones like Decentraland and Gloomy, and they'll, be very different. Some will be walled gardens where you have to kind of interact and do things as they want you to do, and some will just be open worlds like Gloomy where you did to just go and exist, So people always ask, let's kind of change and kind of keep going on this. People always ask, why would you need an apartment in a virtual world or a home or something like that? Well, you can only carry so much stuff with you in the real world. You can only carry so much stuff with you in the virtual world. So you're going to have a ton of stuff that you're going to probably accumulate. You're going to want things to go stay somewhere. You're going to store these things somewhere. That's a great place for an apartment to be. I do think that eventually, this is going to get more into the future of this, but why would you not? I'm a teenager. I can't drive. Let's pretend I'm 13 years old, okay? I can't drive anywhere. I can't go out that night. None of my friends can go out that night. So why don't we all just hop on the VR and go into Gloomy, and then we can just go to my apartment in Gloomy, and we can just hang out there together and do whatever. We can play board games. We can play video games. We can watch a movie. We can just chat and, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. That's kind of, to me, a future idea of how social interactions will then end up taking place. So, the cooler stuff you have. I mean, think about it. You could all just I got a car or a rocket ship, and I own this planet. Let's all go get on my rocket ship and go fly to this planet, and then maybe you can go compete in some games, or you can go, to an arcade. You can go you can then interact with your friends who could be anywhere in the world at that point, in this world, and just go do a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's you're kind of hanging out on a night out in the town together. Now, I do think a lot of that's going to be future distant. We're not talking about next year. We're talking about 20 years from now. My daughter, who's only 2 years old, will most likely not experience something like that. I think the next generation will most likely start to experience things like that. But that's kind of the future of this. I don't think you'll be going to Horizon just to like hang out with some friends and go have a night out in the town. You may. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to plan on building. But you're way more likely, to me, to come into a world like Gloomy where, man, there's going to be so much more shit going on. The life going on and all the businesses that are going to be started up and all the things that are going to be happening, it is unbelievable, the things that I can imagine in my head that Gloomy will have and exist in. So you'll be able to go there and just kind of have an endless opportunities, array of opportunities to go and do. So you can just play and have fun and hang out, or you can start to take over, own an industry. I own the television industry. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing what I do, is I bought the television industry inside of Gloomy. So if you want to show anything on a Gloomy TV in the world, you're going to have to come through me. I think 80% of it, let's be actually like legally correct here, 80% of it, so that I don't own the news. So the news will be controlled by someone else, and that part I can't really say, but 80% of the TV airways I do control. Therefore, if you want to have a show or show a commercial or an advertisement or anything like that, you got to come through me to do things like that. So you can own an industry, and you can start really becoming a powerhouse. It's almost like you're having a second life, where you can earn money. I mean, think about if like your job was to go into Gloomy and go work for the day. Like that's your work, is to go to Gloomy and work. Like you have a business or a job there that you are maintaining, and you can even earn passive income. You can have AI built businesses that just pretty much, like, people have toll booths and things like that to get into areas. So if you want to get into that area, you're going to have to pay a toll fee to get in there. Well, those people own that toll fee, and they get to earn money for every person who enters into that place. Or if they own an amusement park or whatever it is, and they charge money for that, they don't have to be there. Things just running on its own. They're off and whatever, doing their own shit. They're just making, cash right there. So that's a great way to make just passive income. And that's a really cool idea of a decentralized world, is that you can come in, just buy some land, build a business. It doesn't technically have to have a brick and mortar type of idea if you don't want to. You can buy an apartment, get some cars, things like that. You can go like live in this world and exist. I mean, this is the future that we're looking at. This is, to me, just a brilliant. I can't even stress it enough that how excited I am for the future of the metaverse. And I look at the metaverse as like all virtual worlds, to be honest with you. But I'm really excited for virtual worlds, not just Gloomy. I'm highly invested, and I really love Gloomy, and that's the one. But I still love all of them, and I want to explore all of them. And if you come to our channel, you're going to see that I'm going to explore all of them. I'm going to play them. I'm going to try to buy some things in them and do things. I'm going to try to kind of be a part of them. Now, you'll see most of Gloomy, and sorry, but that's just the way it's going to be because Gloomy's the best. So, but I want to show all of it. I want everybody to see all the virtual worlds. I want to make sure that you understand what these things really are and what it really means. And so I guess that's a good little opener idea of like GlewMeCity is a digital world mimicking the real world to a certain degree, where you can have an avatar that you exist in and you can play for free, you can own businesses, you can work, you can own an industry, you can make real income. There's a real economy going on. It's a real economy with real money. So this is like a second life that you can begin inside of Gloomy, and you can do what you can build cars if you want to. You can mint. That's the cool thing about a digital world. You can kind of create whatever you want. If you think about the Oasis, they have like the Iron Giant and stuff. Yeah, you can have that if you want. Why not? So things like that are very possible. It's an endless array of opportunities. A digital world where you get to go exist and just kind of be free. And that, to me, is a very powerful future and very powerful idea. And I want to talk about more of the reasons for why, because we didn't talk about education and the university idea, being able to get to wider audiences. if the internet globalized the world and made the world a little smaller, the virtual world and metaverses and GlewMeCity and places like that are going to make the world even smaller again. We're going to be able to interact with people across the world in ways that we have never experienced before, and it's going to be powerful. So that's generally what GlewMeCity is, and kind of gives you an idea of what maybe a decentralized virtual world is going to be like. I kind of want to end there. I think that's good for right now. We have plenty more to chat about, kind of in more in-depth conversations. I'm also going to have a video or a couple of them for what is a virtual world or a metaverse, so that you can really understand the idea of which just that idea of it, and not really mainly on GlewMeCity, because all of them are a little different. You got to keep in mind, GlewMeCity is photorealistic and built with the Unreal Engine, so it's going to look way cleaner and nicer and a more adulty to me than something like Decentraland, which is very cartoony and like Lego-ish. So that's kind of, those differences are really important, and I want to make sure everybody understands those as we kind of go forward with this adventure of the metaverse. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg, for making that as big as it is today. All right, so yeah, that's what it is. I appreciate your time. Please come back for more, and I'm going to try to get as much content as I can out, and we got some fun things coming.